Good evening, all, and welcome to the, and I've lost my script here. Did you take it? There we go. And welcome to the February 21st, 2023 Town Board meeting. If you'd all rise, please, for the pledge to the flag. Mary, would you lead us in a pledge to the flag, please?
Absolutely. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you would mind, please remain standing and give thought to all of our first responders who serve us on a daily basis, protecting us, and all of our troops that keep our freedoms free. And also, just remember the folks in the Ukraine. Friday will be the one-year anniversary from the Russian invasion of the Ukraine. Thank you. Amen.
Amen.
All righty. Starting to my right.
Good evening. Diana Quast, Town Clerk.
Councilman Ed Lachman.
Tom Diana, Supervisor.
Sergio Esposito, Councilman.
Luciana Howitt, Councilwoman.
Mary Capoccia, Councilwoman.
Adam Rodriguez, Town Attorney.
Thank you, everybody. Hope everybody had a good week so far. A good weekend. We had a nice long holiday weekend. Little sinkhole update from Legacy Field. I was up there yesterday, and I spoke to one of the head guys there that's doing the drilling, et cetera, up there. And he advised me that they're hoping that that field is opened sometime between mid-March and April 1st. That's the last word that we got. That was yesterday afternoon. Now, a lot will determine on the geologicals. We're hoping that they all come back good. The possibility of them bringing another drill rig up there to speed the operation and finding where, if any, more voids are in the soil on the pipeline. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but the poles on 132 that snapped in front of the Loxley Firehouse were finally repaired today. I've been making constant phone calls and emails to Verizon. NYSEG was there. They've sunk the poles. They switched the high lines over, and the poles remained in that precarious position for over 2 weeks. That was not acceptable as far as I'm concerned. I understand that they have a lot to do, and maybe they had a lot of poles down, but they were hanging up there by just a cable. And I made it known through emails and phone calls to the individuals that are in charge of that particular division. Evidently, it worked. So those poles are now switched over, and the precariously dangling poles that are in front of the Loxley Road Firehouse are gone. We had a really great reopening of the Yorktown Theater. I'll tell you, it's amazing the work that can be done when people put their heads together. From Pat Caparel, who kind of spearheaded the project, and Senator Harcum, who gave us a $100,000 grant, and the $1.2 million that was put into the YCC on the roof, new air conditioning, new heating systems. There's new seats. There's new specific wheelchair accessible seating area there. There's new carpeting in the lobby, the theater, and the entryway. There's new lighting for the inside entry area and lobby. We want to thank Dominic from Freight Liquidators. Once you walk into the theater, you now have a few couches so that you can kind of sit down and relax a little bit before you go into watch your show or hear the singers or the comedians, as it may be. We got to put a big thank you out to the building maintenance department for their construction of the wheelchair platform, painting, refurbishing the cement flooring, and basically all the site project management. They did a fantastic job inside that theater. The first show was Friday, February 17th. Anthea Nunziata, Love Songs from Broadway to Italy. It was pretty good. And then they had a comedian that was before him that kind of warmed them up, and that was real good too. So that was a fun Friday, and we did a nice ribbon cutting and some interviews and so forth. And it's really a jewel in our community here, folks. If you haven't been, you got to go. You got to be able to, enjoy some of the culture and the arts that are in this particular community. And it starts right there, from the kids to the adult shows to the camps. And like I had said while I was there, the camps that they put on actually keep our kids safe because they engage them in things to do. And if they have a thrill that they might want to be an actor someday, maybe it gives them a little leg up. I don't know, but it's fun to watch even the little kids when they're in the plays go at it. It's heartwarming. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, I got a immediate release from New York State Gas and Electric. I don't think we're going to get the weather down here that they're expecting in other places, but New York State Gas and Electric sent a preparedness statement out, and they would like folks to be cognizant that within the next 24 hours or so, we may be experiencing some heavy wind, sleet, rain, and possibly some snow. So if you have your generators, make sure they start. If you have flashlights, make sure the batteries are charged or are new. This particular release takes in a wide range, but it includes the Hudson Valley and Westchester region. So just as a word to everyone, be prepared in case we do have a storm and stuff does start to get knocked out. And I think that's probably it. Ed?
All right. So I wanted to report on some of the committees that I am the liaison for. The Senior Advisory, which meets here in this town boardroom the third Friday of every month, just met this past Friday. They had a great speaker from Hudson Valley New York Presbyterian Hospital speaking about progress with radiation and chemo and oncology. It was a great little presentation. I highly recommend that you either come or you could catch it on our public access station. Our Veterans Committee, which meets the third Wednesday of every month, is still looking for some members. So anyone interested, please send your resume to Jenna. The requirement is that you are a veteran to sit on the committee, and we're looking to have different groups represented. Right now we have the VFW and the American Legion, but there are other groups such as Vietnam Veterans of America, Purple Hearts. Anyone can apply, and also some of the local clubs like Jefferson Village. Talking about the veterans, the Sons of the American Legion wanted me to pass on a huge thank you. Today was Sunday. Was their most successful breakfast to date. There were about 95 people coming through. We had a great breakfast, mainly prepared by Rob Del Balzo, or Chef Rob on Wheels.
You're too modest, Ed.
That's
Come
okay.
on, you're flipping too.
I know, but Rob did a lot of the work. Although the best cook there was probably his daughter, Caitlin, who came to help out and do some volunteer work. That was great. So they do pass on a thank you. All of the funds raised go to help Veterans Services. And Mr. Tegeter, thank you for coming with the Sons and the members from your post as well, 1080 and Mayapack. The Chamber of Commerce, I also sit on the board there as a liaison and as a board member. They have at 7:45 a.m. this Thursday for you early risers. They have a breakfast with New York Presbyterian Hospital having the speaker, and they are doing Heart Health Month Advancements in Cardiology. So that is at 7:45 a.m. for breakfast at Little Sorrento's over on Crampon Road on the other side by BJ's. And and there's a charge of, I believe it's $20 or $25. It could be paid at the door or through Eventbrite. And I did forget, Legislator Gashi, if we could talk about some of the things that were brought up at the Veterans Committee when you get a chance, that would be great. And that's it for me.
All right, Ed, thank you. One thing I had forgotten here was United for the Troops. United for the Troops is sending out their 30,000th care package to our deployed military. 30,000 packages that they've sent out over the past number of years. They will be at 34 Glenida Avenue, Carmel, New York, on Saturday, March 4th, between 10 and 1 p.m., 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. On this day, our UFT volunteers will be sending our 30,000th care package to our deployed military around the world. For the past 16 years, United for the Troops has continued to send a little comfort to our troops by providing some of the things they miss mostly from home. They're 100% volunteer, and they're a 501(c), not for profit. Now, one of the most unique things that I've seen them send is they send just a little package of dirt from the United States in every package. And when the troops there get the package, sometimes they make a little area out front and they go and stand in it so that they can say they were standing on American soil. So it's such a worthwhile, laudable cause. If you can get up there for a couple hours or an hour and help pack some boxes for our troops, please do. Serge, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Serge. I did forget one thing because my computer went dark and I had it open to it. I don't sit on the library board, but we were asked to share that coming up is Library Giving Day, and that will be April 4th of 2023. And it's an online giving campaign to support library programs across the country. Just so you know, the Hart Library ran over 2,000 community programs last year alone, and they'd like to be able to provide more, so please consider going online, and more details will be coming out on that. Thank you.
Sergio.
All right, so just I'll be brief. I know we got started late, so I apologize for that. But Ed, you are too modest because when you go to the Legion, when they have these breakfasts, you are fully engaged. And you're, I think, the main cook or chef.
Some
chef.
people in the room
I'm gonna
might
call him
not
a
come if they know I'm cooking. So.
Well, then I let the cat out of the bag. Argonne Rose, the gastropub, the brewery that's opened on Main Street in Shrub Oak, is having their grand opening. It's March 1st, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Everybody's invited. They're going to have some food. They're going to have some beer tasting. It's the Old Stone Church, for those of you who put a spot on the dot on the map for you guys. I was happy and privileged to attend the Association of Towns annual meeting these past couple of days. Took a couple of days off of work. The Association of Towns provides legal and technical training and advocacy for 933 towns in New York State. The amount of knowledge and the amount of teaching and the amount of classes they had everything from budget preparedness to fund balance, and they had so many different topics that and a lot of them overlapped. Right, you had to pick. You either going to go to this topic at 9 o'clock or this or this or that. It would take 3 or 4 years to get through all of the topics and all of the seminars that they had. Anyway, I was happy to get over there because in a world where things change daily, it's important to keep up with the changes. And if I could do better, if I can be better, then I could do better for you guys. And the info again that the Association of Towns provides is unbelievable. That's all I have. Great to see all of you. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. I hope you guys had a good Monday. I'm going to go ahead and just give you a couple updates. I do know that the Bubbly Pony is having a make your own Easter wreath event, and that's actually in the mall. So our mall's kind of transitioned to this place of like gathering and events, and that's an event that's being pushed. I do know that the Yorktown Grange does want us to stress that on the 18th, 19th, 25th, and the 26th of March, seatings 9, 10, and 11, they're having their pancake and maple syrup breakfast. And then they also want me to let you know that to look out for their spring fling, which is coming in April. I do something that's very close to me. The Community Food Pantry at St. Mary's on Mohegan Lake is collecting 12 and under pre-prepared, gender-neutral Easter baskets, coloring books, chocolates, eggs, markers, paints, crayons, already prepackaged if you may. And if not, they're also in need of ham, canned vegetables, canned fruit, pie shells, gravy, coffee, cereal, right, Sarah? Cream soups and broths. And they're collecting them all as of March 31st. So if you have the time or can stop by at CVS and pick up one of those cellophane pre-made, Easter baskets, great. If not, if you want to drop over a bag of groceries, that's great too. They will be distributing it on Saturday, April 1st. And if you know any Girl Scouts, please stock up on cookies. And don't do what I do, just buy 2 boxes per kid, because if not, you'll have enough Girl Scout cookies forever at this point.
United for the troops.
Yeah, I should. I'm like, they fill my freezer. I prefer the Thin Mints instead of the produce. So, but I do know that the Girl Scouts are out there selling their yummy cookies, and that's all.
Good evening, everybody. How are you? What a great turnout tonight. First off, Ed wants me to remind everybody the next senior advisory meeting is going to be the 4th Friday because of St. Patrick's Day in March. Also, e-waste and textile tire drop-off days. So if you have any e-waste, textile, or tires, it is this Friday, February 24th from 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at our recycling center in front of the Yorktown Police Department. Also, I did not know this, but we have a winter farmers market at the Jefferson Valley Mall. And it is on Sundays from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then I just wanted to echo Tommy with the Yorktown stage. If you haven't been there, it's quite a beautiful theater. And also, in that same building, we have another Yorktown gem. We have the Yorktown Museum. If you haven't been there, that's certainly a place to go and see. That was founded in 1966. It's open on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 to 3. Such a great place to go see. That's it for me. Let's get this meeting started.
All right.
I'll just throw out a big kudos to Anna from the clerk's office, Diana. I actually was there today. They've been doing a ton of work. Very dusty, but great job getting things done. And it was.
Oh my God, it's a great place.
Yeah, I probably haven't been there since my daughter was 7, and she's going to be 38 this year. So it's been a while.
Another visit.
Show of hands. How many people have been to the Yorktown Museum? Very good. Very good. All right.
Sophie, you've never been there?
Not yet. She's only been in town a month.
Maybe we could do a nice story on it.
If we do get hit with this storm, folks, I'm just going to read off a couple of numbers. Con Edison's number is 800-752-6633. And NYSEG, New York State Electric and Gas, is 800-572-1131. For any of your electrical issues, keep in mind, wires go down, poles go down, things are laying on the ground. Don't touch them. Stay away from your metal guardrails. Oftentimes once the storm's over, the neighbors will meet outside and everybody will be leaning on something, and you're leaning on a metal guardrail that could have an exposed high-tension wire laying on it somewhere down the end that you don't even know. So just to bear that in mind. And if you have a power outage, call those 2 numbers I just gave you. The Yorktown Police non-emergency number is 914-962-4141, but they can't do much more than calling Con Edison and or NYSEG for your power issues. Of course, in an emergency, dial 911. For your highway-related problems, and most likely if there's poles down and wires down in certain areas, we will have the highway department out, or I should say Dave will have the highway department out, assisting where they can. As long as we have make-safe crews out that are killing the wires, we can get the roads open. And the highway department number is 914-962-5781. Okay. Just wanted to put that out in case that warning does come true. I hope it doesn't, but just in case. All right. From White Plains, we have Vadat Gashi, our county legislator for the 4th Legislative District. Vadat?
Thank you for having me. I'd like to correct the record, though. I'm from Yorktown.
Correct, you are.
And actually, another point that I want to join in congratulating the YCC, the stage work. And I don't know about the official start, but my daughter performed there about a week before, for the week before that, 17th on She Was Rue. It was electrifying and amazing. But I am biased. Anyway,
She was the best one on stage, I assume.
that's what everybody in my house said.
Of course. Absolutely.
So yeah, it's been a little while since I presented. I just wanted to present a few of the things that we've done at the county legislature recently. At the Westchester County Legislature, I serve on a number of committees, but I chair the Committee on Budget and Appropriations. This just a month at the end of the year, we passed the budget. And for the 4th year in a row, every year that I've been in office, I'm proud that we've had the property tax levy has been decreased. So we've reduced the taxes. And we did this while increasing our reserves again. So much so that the county's financial fiscal rating by Standard & Poor's, S&P, and Fitch's has been increased. Showing that our financial health has been better. Now, of course, there's challenges on the horizon, and we're feeling the inflationary pressures just like everyone else. This past year, some of the things we've done to address the inflationary pressures for everyone have been a couple of different things, but includes passing something that will allow senior citizens and persons with disabilities or increasing the range where people can apply for a tax exemption. Previously, it was up to people that earned up to $29,000. Now it's up to $50,000, giving, I think, the access to that exemption to more people. Mm-hmm. We passed a gas tax holiday from June to the end of August to September, I guess, which wasn't a huge decrease, but it amounted to about 12-cent reduction per gallon. And we saw that the gas prices were high, and we tried to help as best we could. We also suspended certain fees, like we had free bus service during that time, especially since post-pandemic, we're still working to get the ridership up on county buses. Now, on veteran services, and Ed, I did see that email, so we're going to follow up on those issues. But we did a few things, like we created new mental health resources for veterans, and we passed a bill to waive all fees for civil service exams for veterans. Again, not the biggest thing in the world, but I think a way, if we care about employing veterans, helping make it as easy as possible for them to be employed and applying, is something that we all were in support of. Mental health continues to be a big challenge for everyone, and I think, some people say it's created by the pandemic. Others say that the pandemic revealed some mental health challenges. Regardless, one of the things that we'd heard across the county was, and to do with the police responses, was that not every situation called for a police response. Some of them were more mental health issues, or better addressed that way. So there was a two-pronged approach, and the first was to create the option when somebody calls 911, to create the option to designate a third to say this is actually a mental health situation, and have it addressed accordingly. And to be able to respond to those, we created mobile response units, 6 of them. Now, it's brand new. Some of them are going great, and some of them aren't as well. But I think as with any brand new thing, not everything's going to work immediately great, but for the vast majority of the county, the response has been fantastic. And I think our big challenge at the moment is making sure as many police departments and municipalities are aware of the services available to them. We did a whole number of other things. We put money to the parks, notably nearby Hilltop Hanover Farm. Approved monies for various infrastructure improvements nearby Mesquite Farm, and we're trying to make sure that the farms are these parks that we have are up to date and improved as best we can. We've seen, especially during the pandemic, what a treasure it is. How wonderful it is that we have these resources nearby. The attendance has been up, and making sure that we get best product available or the best experience available for people of Westchester. Redistricting is a thing we did at the county level as well, with less drama than in the national or the state. We held 5 public input sessions, and we were so there are some changes to the districts. One of the things that caused us a challenge was they changed the law. Previously, you could have a 10% deviation between district. One district could have 10% more and another 10% less. The net impact, or excuse me, went from 10% to 5%, made it challenging. And specifically to me, for the 4th district, we ended up losing a part of my district to the east and adding 2 election districts in Yorktown. So getting a little bit more of Yorktown is a benefit to me, and I was pleased to do so. Lastly, right now we are dealing still with the budget proposed by the governor, and there's some challenges in there. One of them is that the governor would hope to pass through the fees for Medicaid to the county, which would amount to a $46 million hit for the county. This is obviously something that we are disappointed by, disagree with, and hope the governor would change their mind. We're asking for advocacy from our partners in state and even local government, so feel free to do that. Another item, and it's an item that admittedly potentially impacts Yorktown less because it's more around train stations, but is municipal housing efforts. We all agree that affordable housing and housing is a need throughout the county, but I personally, and I think a lot of the people I've spoken to, disagree with it being mandated from the state. It's not a responsibility of the state, it's a responsibility of the local governments. And so I think that would be another area where we would appreciate shared advocacy.
And it's unfunded.
Well, it's I think to my mind, the primary challenge is it's not a responsibility reserved to the governor. The governor's rights and responsibilities are considerable. That's not one of them. And for that reason, and probably others, I would oppose it. So it's something we're working through, working on advocacy again with levels, state and otherwise. I think there's quite a bit more, but I think I've spoken enough. And there's a big crowd here, so I don't want to take away time from them. But I always am available for questions. Can reach out to me. Probably the best way is Gashi at westchesterlegislators.gov. And thank you. Any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Legislator Gashi. We appreciate you coming and give us a little update on the things that are going on. Even the fuel oil tax that the county had suspended through March 1st. So that helped our folks out that were, could have been having a little bit of trouble paying their oil bills or something this winter. I mean, it mounts up, especially if you're filling a tank from nothing to completely full. So, but
yeah, I was reading through my bullet points quickly. You're right. Thank you. You're hired.
Yeah.
Elimination of sales tax for residential energy
Yeah.
is another way we try to help during the inflation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well
All right.
done.
If you need another voice about the ADUs, the affordable dwelling units, and that whole thing, I'd be happy to help. Just reach out.
I appreciate it. Thank you again.
Yep.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
Thanks for that.
Okay, I got a presentation from a couple of my favorite people. Sarah Wilson.
Only one.
Oh, only Sarah.
Well, I don't
Heidi's
see
not
Heidi.
here?
Feeling well, so I think we should postpone.
You want to postpone it? Mm-hmm. You want to postpone, or you want to?
Yeah, we'll postpone it.
She's asking.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll wait.
Huh?
Nope, you're next.
Nope. You'd be next. You were after them.
Who could skip you?
Who could-
Come on.
how could I do that, John? Never. Okay. Since we're going to wait for Heidi to show up, maybe the following meeting. How about our poet laureate John McMullen?
This is a little different from what I normally read, and warning, it's a little longer. Poetry became my new basketball. From the time I was 12 to over 60, basketball was the one constant in my life. It took me through changes in schools, aspirations, careers, marriages, parenthood, residence. I was small in high school and only grew too late to play in college. That didn't stop me, though. I played for Catholic CYO teams, for a local Episcopal church, a League of the Jewish Y, and leagues at Wall Street, Westchester, and Inwood, and pick up wherever I could go. I went from a fair player to a pretty good one, to a good one, to a very good one, back to a good one, and then a fair one, and then done. I only consulted, taught, and wrote columns on technology for about 5 years, and then through a quirk, poetry entered my life, grabbed me by my throat, and consumed me. Other than my wife and children, became the number one thing in my life. In short, it became the basketball of my mature life. But wait. Basketball gave me what's known as a fura, a really fouled up right ankle. No tendons or ligaments, arthritis, bone spurs, didn't keep me out of the Army, and caused a ruptured tendon in my leg. Additionally, I had 2 minor knee operations, jelly pumped into both knees, arthritis in both hips. While it was all worth it, basketball has crippled my body. Will poetry do the same to my brain?
God, I hope not, John.
I'm glad you were talking about basketball because if you said baseball was the one constant, I would have to call plagiarism from James Earl Jones' speech in Field of Dreams.
Okay, we're going to move ahead to decision on public hearing to amend Chapter 300-39A through F of the Code of the Town of Yorktown entitled Affordable Housing. And there's Mr. Belfer out there. Hey, Ken. We've all gone through this, and we're moving ahead to adopt an determination of non-significance pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review, Part 6, CRR-NY 617.7, and that a negative declaration form be attached reflecting such adoption. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, secondly on that law, adopt local law number 1 of 2023 to amend Chapter 300-39A through F of the Code of the Town of Yorktown entitled Affordable Housing. Diana, do we need a roll call vote on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion and second.
Okay. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, we need to do a roll call vote, though. Okay. Councilman Ed Lachterman.
Aye.
Supervisor Thomas Diana.
Aye.
Councilman Sergio Esposito.
Aye.
Councilwoman Luciana Howitt.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mary Capoccia.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion carries. All right, folks. We're going to go ahead a few pages now. Yes, now we're at courtesy of the floor.
You mentioned the new brewery opening. My wife and I ate after seeing very good recommendations on neighborhood. Jefferson on the Lake, we ate the Saturday night. The food was excellent. Excellent. Unfortunately, there weren't many people there, and apparently this is a continuing thing. People don't know about it, so I just want to spread the word about it. I don't own any part of the...
Good evening, Jay Kopstein.
Good morning, Mr. Copstein. Or good morning, Mr. Copstein. Good
Okay.
evening, Mr. Copstein.
If you just woke up, I'm glad. I'm glad you're bushy-tailed and bright-eyed. First, we're moving into the spring.
It's all those flowers, right?
It's time to get rid of the zombie poles that are up there. The old poles that are standing by the new light poles and electric poles and Verizon poles and Cablevision poles, whoever owns them. It's nice to have the legislator here for the first time in I don't know how long. Though I would have liked to have seen the legislature speak more about the governor's budget that's going to hurt us. The legislature mentioned the good bond rating that Westchester County has. That has nothing to do with Westchester County or the legislators of Westchester County. Westchester County is one of the few counties within the state that every town and village is responsible to make the county whole on taxes, and then the town or village or city gets stuck doing the collections. So the fact that they're doing well, that means that we're doing well, so you should be congratulated, not the county legislators. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Copstein.
Thanks, Mr. Kopstein.
So, Sergio, Mark Lieberman, 25 years.
Oh, Mark, how are you?
Hey, Mark.
Good, thank you.
Good.
Sergio, you stole my first line
I
in
did.
your opening remarks. So the question was, how many towns are there in the state of New York?
933.
Very good. But did you know that only 0.2%, or 23 of these towns, does the town clerk have a master municipal clerk designation? And Yorktown is unbelievably lucky to be one of these 23 towns. This is a great achievement. The Master Municipal Clerk designation is granted by the very prestigious International Institute of Municipal Clerks. Their program has an extensive and rigorous educational and professional contribution program. And for the past 75 years, the International Institute of Municipal Clerks has been recognized as the premier organization for municipal clerks, and their mission is improving the professionalism of the municipal clerks. So if the town board hasn't already recognized Diana Quast for this honor, I must do so, and that's why I'm here. So I'd like to announce that Diana Quast has been awarded this designation as Master Clerk, and that's a real honor for the town. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You went to school? I'm so glad you went to school.
And when I pass the window, she never lets me forget it, okay? It's always, address me as Master, please. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's fine. I'm Jenny Sunshine. I've lived here for 20 years, and I cannot remember a time when Diana Quast was not part of the office of the town clerk of Yorktown. I know that Diana Quast has worked diligently, concisely, professionally for all of these years, and first under the beloved and expert town clerk Alice Roker, which everyone loved and still loves, and as a deputy clerk, and then Ms. Quast has been the town clerk for the last 7 years. I want to congratulate Diana Quast for earning the prestigious title of Master Clerk. As a citizen, homeowner, and taxpayer, I feel confident and secure knowing that if any of us need anything at all, Town Clerk Diana Quast is always there for us. She's there for you. She can help you with any question or issue that you ever might have, whether you need licensing of any kind, records, permits, agendas. She knows how everything works. She knows how to get things done. And she knows who can help you if you need more help with something that's more specific. Diana Quast knows how to bring Yorktown into the future as we all strive to keep up with technology, while she continues to serve the many important needs of the Yorktown public every single day. The Yorktown public has supported you, Diana Quest, for many years, and I know that we all plan to support you in the many years to come. So thank you so much for being such a dedicated public servant.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Susan Siegel.
Good evening,
Hi, Susan.
Everyone says how long they've lived here. For me, it's 52 years. I'm a newcomer, though, especially with Tom is concerned. Okay. I'm hoping that tonight somebody on the town board can solve a mystery about a missing document. I'll explain what you're getting in just a minute. Okay, the document is a grand jury subpoena. Okay. Last year, the town paid 2 invoices to Bleakley Platt, the town's outside law firm, totaling $1,952 for services related to a grand jury subpoena. I know that because in response to a FOIL request for invoices relating to legal services, I received copies of the invoices, and the invoices were paid, and you have copies of those 2 invoices. Okay? But when I submitted a follow-up FOIL request for copies of the subpoenas that the town had received, I was told, and I quote, "There is nothing to produce." The message from the town attorney's office was clear. It did not deny me access to the subpoena. It simply stated that the subpoena I was requesting did not exist, which kind of made my head scratch. Why would the town pay for legal services related to a grand jury subpoena if there was no such subpoena, if there was no such documents? So I sent the town attorney a copy of one of the invoices, an invoice that actually had his name on it. But I still got the same response, quote, "There is nothing to produce." If there wasn't a grand jury subpoena, then what legal services were provided that dealt with a grand jury subpoena? And as you can see when you look at the invoices, it clearly says grand jury, and one of them says grand subpoenas. Again, I want to emphasize that the issue is not that my FOIL request was denied. The issue is simply that the town attorney doesn't acknowledge that a grand jury subpoena exists, despite the fact that the town paid 2 invoices for legal services related to a subpoena. So my question to the board is very simple. Did the town receive a grand jury subpoena? And if so, why isn't the town attorney's office making the subpoena available through FOIL, which according to advisory opinions from the Committee on Open Government, it should be available? So, but if there's not a subpoena, then what did the town pay $1,950 for legal services for? And just one other totally off different topic. Since the town board's agenda for this meeting came out over the weekend, I've received several calls about the additional meeting you're scheduling for March 8th to discuss a joint meeting with several boards related to the Underhill Farm project. People are asking me, will that meeting be televised? And I said, I don't know. So when you get to do that resolution tonight, will you let the public know? Because many people are interested who may not be able to attend that meeting. We'd like to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Okay. Oh, there goes Mr. Safone.
Okay, that's the phone here. Now, here's the minutes of the meeting. Public hearing on your decision that you made already. I came especially to hear about affordable housing and what you decided. So you bypassed the public hearing. I just want you to know about that. Okay?
Ed, the public hearing was held on the 14th, and it was closed by the town board. They waited a week to make a decision on that local law.
That's correct.
Sorry.
On the 14th?
We already had the public hearing.
Right.
Last week.
Okay. Now, next. Angel Garcia. He's retiring.
Yeah.
I'm a retired police officer. Years go by pretty quick. So I don't know how old he is now, but I
Pretty young guy.
congratulate him that he's retiring. And hope his life is okay after that. Now, the man from the county, you know, you could look at it 2 ways. The new county executive raised sales tax by 1%. Susie walked in. He raised the home heating oil 1%. Susie walked in. So now Tom says, well, February to March, we're saving on the tax. I went here for 20 years. The only county was Westchester, besides maybe one or two others, that were paying sales tax on oil. Okay? So that's another thing. I don't understand it. They're bragging, and now they have so much money, just like the town of Yorktown. $22.2 million in surplus. I didn't get a chance to say that because you didn't see me on TV. But anyway, they just said the budget, and they have a surplus of money. Again, sales tax, money from the state, money from the federal government. So why don't they say they're not going to raise tax. I think he's gone already. Okay. Well, it used to be another person from the legislature being here all the time. But anyway, okay, that's it for me. I just wanted to say I came here tonight to listen for the affordable housing. You had it on the 14th.
Yes.
Is that a public hearing?
Yes, yeah.
I know, but was it a town board meeting?
Of course.
Well, it was a work session, but it was advertised to be part of that meeting.
Public hearing.
Oh, it was a work session.
It was a work session.
Televised work session.
And it was advertised to be part of it.
Okay, great. I have about 9 seconds to go. Can you tell me what that law that you changed means? Since you had a public hearing on it?
Yep,
Okay.
we'll go into it after.
Thank you. Thank
Or
you.
you can email it to him or send it to him.
Ed, the changes are actually inside the agenda. So you can look right in the agenda and it'll tell you exactly what the changes were to that law.
Yeah, but I don't understand gobbledygook, you know? You understand it. You voted for it.
It doesn't create any affordable housing. It doesn't create any affordable housing.
How you doing? My name is Tom Regan.
Hey, Tom.
I've been here 23 years. So I'm also here as I'm also vice president of the Yorktown Athletic Club, and I serve as a liaison to the Parks and Rec Commission. So I just wanted to ask more about the Legacy Field. So we mentioned we would know mid-March to April 1st. I just want to tell you the importance to our program if that field is not open. We have a lacrosse field or all-purpose field that we use for our lacrosse program. We have 200 boys and 200 girls in that program, aging from kindergarten up into 8th grade. And there's also 2 baseball fields up there. We have over 400 kids in our baseball program that use those fields. So if those fields are not open, we are greatly affected by that. We've also already submitted our plans for the spring with the Parks and Rec Commission, with Deanna. We've already given those, we've already gotten those approved. So if we cannot start, and I'll talk about our season, we really only run 2 months. We're talking April 1st until June. And if the weather permits, we do like to get out there in March. You know, it could be that late snowstorm where we can't get out there. So in a 2-month program, if we were to push that field back any further, we're really squeezing our program, then it has a domino effect, because if we can't use those fields, then we are going to have to move to Granite Knolls. If anyone follows the lacrosse world, we really have, for safety issue, we've moved to the legacy fields because of the high fences. And the concern is if we're playing lacrosse on Granite Knolls and there's a soccer program next to us, lacrosse balls can affect that. And we're really not allowed to use the grass fields in town around the track because there's no protective net in there also. So just want to so if there is a change that needs to be done, what is the go, no-go date? Because we already have plans. We've already opened up our registrations. We're communicating to our parents when the practice schedules will be, when the game schedule. We're working on all that information right now. That'll throw other towns into chaos right now also with that. So with that, the go, no-go. So part of that also is, and I'll just ask now, as a town resident also, with the pipeline doing this, is there compensation that's being given to, because my kids are in college and my one's in high school, so I'm really here for the youth of the program. I mean, we went through it where that field was closed a number of years ago for a while, and it had great effect. So if this field is not open again, is there compensation that's either be given to the town or to the Parks and Rec Department for days that that park is closed? That's something that should be considered, in my opinion. And then we would have to go back to the Parks and Rec Commission, which I'll go to that meeting on the first Thursday, and work with them to then reschedule some of the fields that we need. Okay. So I think that's about all I have to say. You know, it's just, we really do need those fields. We've been waiting. This has been one of those winters also where we could have gotten out there earlier, and you know, with the kids sitting around, it would be a great opportunity to get out there if we could. So, you know, if you have any questions, you can always get me. You know, the Parks and Rec Commission has been great, though. They've been working with us. That's all I need to say. But please open up those fields. I know safety comes first, but we do need those fields.
Thanks.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Ken Belfer. Following up on it, first of all, on an earlier comment about something missing in the town of Yorktown, I want to take a little issue with Councilman Esposito over a statement. You know, there's an outlet stream from Mohegan Lake that runs by a certain stone building and then crosses under Route 6. And that stone building where Argonne Roads Brewing Company is always used to, in my mind, be in Mohegan Lake. But now it's missing, and it's in Shrub Oak. It's really a mystery.
He was off by a little bit, Ken. He was off.
I was close. I was close.
All
I
due
was still,
respect to Councilman Diana.
Thank you, Ken.
Well, we were still in the town of Yorktown, right? At least I got that far right. I got to go back. Did I really say that?
Yeah. I wasn't going to correct you, you know, especially an Okie from Shabokie, you know what I'm saying?
So it's in Mohegan Lake.
Really what I'm coming up here to say is thank you for making affordable housing law number 1 in 2023.
There you go.
Thanks, Ken.
Jefferson on the Lakes and Jefferson Valley.
And there you go.
Dan Strauss, 56-year resident. You're all smiling at me tonight. I don't know why.
Why not, Dan?
I'm under surveillance. That's what I tell people.
By who?
I tell them that. I'm under surveillance 24/7.
By who?
By who?
Yeah.
Come on. Don't you get it?
I mean, listen, you're a good-looking guy, but I'm not following you around. I'll tell you that.
Not you.
Not you either.
You said, Mr. Diana, Mr. Supervisor, you said that the theater was a jewel. The Soundview property is a jewel. As far as I'm concerned, you're having a joint meeting next Wednesday. That meeting should be to purchase the property from Unicorn Contracting. Ten acres out of 13 are going to be destroyed. When housing was proposed in Jefferson Valley, 2 lovely ladies from Jefferson Village talked for hours and hours about why they didn't want it and all the reasons why they didn't want it, and that pertains to Soundview. They didn't want it in their backyard, and it didn't happen because nobody said anything. None of you said anything. But with the Soundview, it's a different story. When the people say they don't want it, they're liars or they've got an agenda. All these things, absolutely, it's all on record. It's on record, every word of it, in the papers, at meetings, but I'm not really going there. It's a disgrace to ruin a property that is historic and a jewel in the center of Yorktown. You have plenty of money in your coffers. Mr. Gashi said that the county has plenty of money in their coffers. You could get grants. You got $7 million of grants for paving in this town. And you're going to tell me that you can't find a way to get $2 million of grants? $2 million plus $1 million plus $1 million is $4 million. Unicorn Contracting paid $3.5 million. It is a disgrace that that property would even be considered to be developed. 500 trees, all the flowers, all the fauna and the flora ruined because of certain people wanted to get developed, and that's why the overlay law was put in place, simply to do that property and to do the hotel in the middle of town.
Mr. Strauss, your time is up.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anybody else for courtesy of the floor?
Good evening. Sarah Wilson, 32-year resident of Yorktown Heights. This evening, I want to thank the town board for their proclamation on February 7th, recognizing Black History Month. And I'm here tonight to highlight what I believe is the only event that's actually taking place in Yorktown to celebrate Black History Month. So I want to invite you and our residents to join Yorktown for Justice and the John C. Hart Library this coming Saturday between 10:30 and 12:30 for an open mic poetry event. I believe that our Yorktown Poet Laureate John McMullen will be there, along with a group of adults and young people who will recite poems of their choosing, either their own poems or poems by others that celebrate Black history and Black poets. The ever dapper Colin Smith will be emceeing the event. And in addition to the poetry readings, we're going to provide, the library will provide materials and guidance for our adults and our teens to learn how to create what's called blackout or erasure poetry, which is where you take a whole page of, copy from a book or a text, and you pick certain words, and then you black everything else out. And what you're left with is a verse of your own creation and creativity. So I'm looking forward to trying that out this Saturday. It's fun and creative, and for children, we'll have events for them, laminating bookmarks, things like that. So I hope that you'll stop by at some point on Saturday and join us to celebrate Black History Month, and maybe even feel inspired to share a poem or two. Thank you.
What was the time?
10:30 to 12:30. It'll be in the normal community room as well as in the children's area.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to go.
To add something to what that Sarah just said, Colin Smith is a published poet under the name of Colin D. That he was on my radio show years ago. He's a very good poet.
Oh, there we go.
Never knew that.
I don't know.
We weren't getting off that easy. Hello, everybody. Jim
Hi.
Pugliese. 22-year resident here at Yorktown. Also vice president of Yorktown Athletic Club, YAC. Don't want to, go over everything again that Tommy talked about, but it is vital that we get, Legacy Field up and running. It's just so important to our program. But one thing I also wanted to bring up, we talk about a gem in Yorktown. YAC is a gem. It's a gem for our youth. It's a gem for all the kids that have gone through this program. My kids have gone through the program. I know some of your kids have gone through this program. And this year marks 75 years that YAC has been in existence. So with that being said, we're having a party.
Yeah.
We want to have a party. And so, Mr. Supervisor, I'm going to be reaching out to you to go over some of the details.
Okay.
We've had our meetings in place, but we are looking to throw a nice big celebration for this town, for all the past 75 years, for people that have been through this, and we really want to just make sure that we get you guys behind it. We want to get our police department behind it, so I'll be reaching out to Chief Noble as well, but we really want to, make sure that we do the right thing and we do it right. So, and one thing I think we know how to do is throw a bit of a party. So,
all right.
All right. But thank you for everyone. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
I don't know. You're saying you're being followed.
How's it going? Jay Tomasulo.
Hey, Jay.
How you doing? Well, I've been here all my life for 43 years, and I'm a Lakeland alum. So,
Right.
I'm also the baseball director at Sherbrooke, so I'm here representing Sherbrooke side. So I'm not going to go over the stats too. We are in the same boat as YAC. Our kids are getting hurt because of Legacy Field. That's not going to be open in time. It's going to cause a lot of chaos for kids going to other, trying to adjust to other fields and scheduling. So I'm not going to stay up here and just beat the bush here. But so we're in support of YAC also. So whatever you guys can do to move this along. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jay. Do I have anybody else for courtesy of the floor? Of course I do. That would be my good friend John Campobasso.
Oh, I would have gave you my 3 minutes. Good evening.
Good evening,
Good
John.
evening.
John Campobasso, 405 Courting, lifelong resident. I just first wanted to say thank you to the town board. It's easy to sit here a lot of times to come up and hammer you guys, and I think you all do a really good job. Tom, I've never come up, and I guess since you've been here, so congratulations and
Thank you,
best of luck. And same to Mary, obviously. I just want to say a couple things about Luciana, too, Sergio, all you guys. You really help us out. I represent YAC and the commission, Parks and Rec Commission, and Luciana's been awesome at the meeting. So really helps us get things done. You guys have heard all the stuff about Legacy. No reason to go over it again, because we also have hurdles with Granite Knolls, which, with parking and solar and all these types of things. So just keep that in the back of your mind. But I know you're going to press for it. You guys do a great job. So thank you for that. And that's really all I have to say. And come to the party, of course.
Yes.
And thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. Anybody else for courtesy of the floor?
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Christine Dunn.
Hey, Christine.
I can't say I've been in Yorktown quite as long as everybody else. Wasn't quite planning to come up, or I would have worn my favorite shirt. But I just have to add on to some of the comments that have been made tonight about Legacy and our fields. Having been here less time, I could speak to the fact that some of these facilities and the gems that we have are the reason people come here. They're the reason people pay the prices for the houses that we have here. It protects all of our house values. Having the sense of community with all the clubs is super important to the brand. And again, why people move here. It's why I moved here initially. And so I've also been a part of helping to volunteer with some of what goes on with scheduling for Parks and Rec. And so I give them a ton of credit. I give you all a ton of credit. I'm sure it's not easy to sit up there. But from my perspective as a taxpayer, what I can see is if Legacy doesn't get open on time, especially because of the solar as well as Granite, I just feel like there's going to be chaos, a ripple effect across the system. There's a lot of kids this would affect. And so I guess I ask as a taxpayer and a child in the program, I know you guys will, please, to the full extent possible legally, that you could put pressure on them to get this done and keep us all updated. We appreciate it.
We'll do
Thanks.
Christine.
Thanks, Christine.
Anybody else for courtesy of the floor? You have a motion to close courtesy of the floor.
Motion.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
I have a few comments.
Anybody have a few comments they'd like to share?
I do.
All right.
Okay. Jay, I'm sorry that Vidal left before you spoke, because I always love to have everybody heard. So I'm sure he'll watch it. But I do want to address that. Thank you, Sergio, for the 933, because Mark would have had me.
What a
I would have been off a bit on that. Congratulations on getting your master's. I'm so proud of you. I guess we'll have to bring you cookies and balloons. That's amazing. As far as the subpoena goes, I see the invoices that you just gave us. I'm going to go ahead and turn that over to Adam to address with you. But I don't see that they were paid. I just see 2 invoices that you gave me. And along with giving me the 2 invoices, you gave me also the FOIL timeline request. So I'm going to tell you that I will look into it. But as of right now, they're just 2 invoices, one carried over to another. and it states that there was $1,952.50, but I don't have a check that's attached to it, and I don't have a paid invoice. And sometimes people send the wrong invoice to people. So let me look into it. But if this had the check on it and it said it was paid, then I would say we paid them this money, therefore we should have paid them for something. But I'm happy to look into it for you. As far as parks goes, I'm sweating up here. Tommy wants to step on me for all this. I can't, I'm dreaming legacy. I'm dreaming legacy. That hole is the black hole that I did not want to see. I too came here to give my kids a place to run around. I come from originally the city. And one of the places I found was I needed community, and I needed people that stood for fresh air and taking care of our trees and stepping out there and having ownership. And I think the sports systems that we have here and what Parks and Rec offers is our children accountability. And sometimes it even offers me as the mom more accountability because I got to get them to 2 different fields within the same amount of window. And listen, that is an art form, I can tell you that. But the community always comes together. So I do hear you. And I'm so glad to see you because I'm always let me see you at the meetings. So I'm so glad that you guys came. But it has not gone overlooked. I think that it's true. There's going to be some hurdles. And I know that we're pushing and that we're trudging. I don't know the extent of what's been trudged because I haven't actually gone into the hole yet, but I do know that they were digging, and that was what the repair was. So as far as that, thank you, and thank you for the invitation to the party. But let me tell you, every game and every time my kid gets off the field, it's a party. So thank you for that, endlessly. And that's all I got.
All right. With regard to Legacy Field, I'm in constant contact with Christian DiPalermo, who's their head guy, basically, on the East Coast. And as far as compensation, I'm negotiating as we speak to take care of that. And they're going as fast as they possibly can up there. When I spoke to their head guy, they have 4 of the 8 areas of interest already bored down to certain levels. Okay, they have to go down to a certain level to make sure everything is good. My main concern, although it may put a crimp in scheduling and so on and so forth, but my main concern is that no one gets hurt on that field who isn't playing baseball. Okay, I want to make sure that it's right and that it's right for all the kids up there. The last thing I would want to have happen is one of those children fall down in a hole like occurred on Christmas Eve. Just for the record, that hole is corrected. That sinkhole is filled. It was done properly, from what I can tell, and covered over, and there's been all sorts of tests around it, in it, through it, and so forth to show that it was done properly. Like I say, I think there's 4 of the 8 places of interest that they are drilling. 4 are done, I believe it is. Maybe it's 3.5, but at least 4. At least 3.5, maybe 4 that are done, and they're going to move on to 2 or 3 more. And they may even bring in another drill rig to hopefully expedite that process. So, like the sign says, bear with us during our construction. I definitely don't want to see the kids delayed, but I also don't want to see any of them hurt either. So, word today was mid-March. Okay? With an pushing it out April 1st. That was the word I got today. It could be a little bit before that, might be a little bit after that, but that's about where it sits right now. I see Matt Talbert's here. I believe he got the same word that I got today. So it's frustrating. I know it's going to cause some angst in our clubs and in our parks and recreation department if rescheduling has to be done. But they're working as fast as they can up there. They're not dogging it. They don't want to be here any longer than they want to. And they're definitely not going to have to pay more than they want to come when the time comes. So they're getting it done.
Tom, hold on a second. Were you able to get the paperwork from Jim regarding all the people that have rented from us, what it would cost, what the loss would be?
I didn't have that paper.
Okay. Jim, maybe we can come up with something so that he has the leverage to see the damage that it could do to the program, to the facilitators, the people that have already invested in it, so that he has that for Christian?
I mean, I think one of the issues there is calculating, not just the monetary, it's the loss of use by our youth.
It's the
That should have a value.
That to me is the most important. But I will tell you that Tom has been hitting the ground running, hitting the ground hard. He's been there on a number of occasions, and you have been, and he's been really pushing them because he really does want that up. We all do, but the safe, it has to be safe. I mean, God forbid, we get kids on there, and I'm not going to say it because I'm Italian, and it's a whole culture thing. You can't talk like that, but God forbid. That's all I'm saying. So, but I know, Tom, you've really been hounding them, and you've been all over it. So
That's what I'm saying. So let's
I
give
will
them
tell
as
you
much
that
leverage.
that is actual. That's a fact.
The issue there is they could have just filled that sinkhole in and left, okay, and we wouldn't have known what we had east and west of that particular sinkhole, but they didn't. They're doing the right thing by us, and they're going to give us monetary consolation for the time that they've inconvenienced the people of the town of Yorktown. You can rest assured on that. With regard to, let's see, where are we? Ken, thank you for sticking up for me. If he's still here, Ken Belfer. I don't know if he left already. There he goes. There he is. All right, you're right. That's Mohegan Lake. That's not Shrubbo. With regard to Soundview, yes, a hearing is proposed. A hearing of all the groups that have any input, want any, or that had any input, that only the town, the boards, and they wanted to Soundview people and the boards get everybody together in one room so that they can bat the questions back and forth that people have been asking, just to maybe clear up a couple things. The big beautiful mansion is not coming down, folks. I don't know if anybody has that notion, but that is not coming down. That was never an issue. I've been through that house. It's beautiful in there. It actually has, in the basement, where the Underground Railroad was led through. And it's an absolutely gorgeous house. They want to preserve that as much as possible. As a matter of fact, it's been told to me that they're going to put about $1 million into that house to try and preserve it even further, because the longer it sits there unattended, the worse it'll get. With regard to the town purchasing, we looked into that. The town, we brought our building inspector, we brought our planning director, we brought engineer over there. It could not be brought up to code for town usage. So, for a developer to come in there and do whatever he's going to do in there at this point, maybe, was the next step. And your past supervisor brought Mr. Galero into that project and got him started. So it's in that point now. I hate to put John Tegeter on the spot, but John, I was wondering, could you just come up and give us a brief overview of the overlay?
The genesis of
The
it?
genesis of the overlay.
The genesis of the overlay. Okay.
Did you like that?
Yeah, that is
Okay.
good. Good terms. The overlay is in the comprehensive plan. So the concept of the overlay. And it offered 3 areas. It didn't offer at that time Yorktown Heights, but it does say in the comprehensive plan specifically that the town board should look at areas periodically in the town that may benefit from an overlay district.
John, I'm sorry, when was the comprehensive plan from?
2010. So when COVID hit and there's been an issue or a marketing issue, let's say a demographic issue in the last 10 years that have to do with millennials, which is that they are seeking out differing lifestyles and differing housing stock. COVID hit, and there was flight from New York City. There was businesses that were looking to relocate, people that were looking to relocate. There's a lot of work from home. So with that in mind, the former supervisor did look, approached us, and we talked and decided that a potential solution to some of the things that the town was experiencing. There was a lot of, I should also point out, a lot of retail vacancies in the town. That the possibility for the solution for that would be to create an overlay district which could address some of those issues. There were multifold issues. And so that is basically the genesis of it. And then we started on a 2-year process to actually write the law, publicly vet it, and then eventually it was adopted in a form that evolved from commentary. So if I've missed anything, let me know. I'd be happy to talk about it for the next 4 or 5 hours. But I don't
missed nothing, John.
No, we got it, John.
Okay,
we got
good.
it. That's okay.
All right, good.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
And going back to the billing summary through May 31st, Adam, could you give us a little something on that? Do you have any independent knowledge on that
just short, quick. I can't and won't confirm or deny the existence of any grand jury subpoena. Grand jury proceedings are confidential. To the extent there is a grand jury subpoena, it wouldn't be subject to production under FOIL. And that's all I have to say about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that's that.
All right. So you good?
I think, yes, I think so.
So I think Ed left with regard to the affordable housing law that we passed today. But pretty much a couple of things that it did, the main points, it removed a date in the existing older law that prevented our community housing board from managing any affordable housing units that were built after 1994. I believe 94 is the date, right, Ken? Okay, see, at least I got something right tonight. I got a little credit.
And 933.
And 933, I'm good. I get all of that right. I made one little mistake. So anyway, so that was like really one of the main things because affordable housing can be built in Yorktown. If a builder wants to come in and build affordable housing, it has happened. There's Keir Street that has happened recently. Those units were off limits to being managed by our own community housing board, and we felt that it was important that they would be able to potentially manage it. Doesn't mean that it's guaranteed to manage it, but they could potentially manage it. Also changed some marketing stuff that I think the community housing board was doing already, and it also adjusted square footage and sizes for different units, efficiency units, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, to put us in line with the model ordinance. And put us, with the model ordinance from the state. So that's really what it did, and that's where that's at. As far as the field, breaks my heart. I hope it gets fixed sooner than later. But I think I've already commented on that, and you know me, I'm for the kids. So as far as I think, let me see. Sarah, I'm not around Saturday, but I might be able to stop by, so that'd be great. I think that's all I got. Thank you.
I just want to throw out on the double polls. I know that we've had them in on that before. We'll definitely follow up on that. That's really is or as I think Jay, you called them zombie polls. And just to point out, for those of you wondering where Jefferson on the Lake is, it's the old Victoria Z's, or for us that have been around a while, it's the old Ciola Manor. I hear Mary.
And even longer was Nino's.
I love the Snapper
Well,
family.
no one's around that long
Love the
except
Snapper
you,
family.
Tommy. Yeah. So And I will say, there was I forget who was it that was talking about Luciana, and I can guarantee you guys that even in our closed session, without giving away what we talk about, she's definitely a champion of the recreation in our town.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody have anything else for courtesy of the floor?
No, my love.
No, we're all good.
Actually, yeah.
What? No. You got something?
No.
You
I'm
sure?
Good. No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So we'll go on to resolutions. From the assessor's office, authorize the supervisors to extend a retainer agreement with Eminger, Newton, Pigeon, and Magyar, Inc. by $15,000 for appraisal services. Appoint Ralph Targine as part-time consultant in the building department. Authorize comptroller to pay Angel Garcia the cash value of unused time as of his retirement date. Authorize the comptroller to refund and process the following budget transfers for the library director. We're going to set a public hearing from the clerk. We're going to set a public hearing to amend chapter. I'm sorry, what? Oh, I'm sorry. Authorize the following duplicate second half school tax refunds. How does that happen?
Because the wife pays, the husband pays, the partner pays.
How does that happen?
Who pays online? Who sends in a
My
check?
mother-in-law would have paid 4 times already if I didn't stop her, so that's how it happens.
Anyway, okay. Authorize the following duplicate second half school tax refunds. We're going to set a public hearing to amend, and this is from the town clerk. We're going to set a public hearing to amend Chapter 260 of the Code of the Town of Yorktown entitled Taxation. Approve a joint meeting of the Town Board, Planning Board, Conservation Board, Heritage Preservation Commission, and the Parks and Recreation Commission to discuss Soundview property, a.k.a. Underhill Farm project. Advertise from the town engineer, advertise bid for ultraviolet lamp replacement disinfection system for the water pollution control plant.
Okay.
How about that? Award bid for various chemicals for the Yorktown Heights water pollution control plant bids. No, Ed, I'm not going to read them all very carefully. And then we have a couple that were add-ons here. Be it resolved that Nisreen Karoy is hereby appointed permanent status to a civil service title, Office Assistant, Auto Systems, Job Class 0750-01, effective February 27th, 2023, to be paid at the rate set forth in the Yorktown CSEA Salary Schedule A-1, Group 8, Step 5, annually, which is $69,094 annually. Be it resolved that David J. Dougherty is hereby appointed permanent status to Senior Automotive Mechanic Job Class Code 0484-02 in the Department of Central Garage, effective February 17th, 2023, to be paid from Yorktown CSEA Salary Schedule A, Group 13, Step 5, which is $81,545 annually. And whereas the bid for the pool tile repair received no responses, and the department head recommends authorizing the town clerk to re-advertise the bid for pool tile repair, resolved the town clerk is authorized to re-advertise the above referenced bid. And we're going to resolve that the supervisor is authorized to execute a concession agreement with Yorktown Golf Group, Inc. to provide golf, recreation, and related services at the town-owned park location on the south side of Route 6 at the intersection of the Taconic State Parkway for an initial 5-year term with a license fee of $78,000 in year 1, $80,340 in year 2, $82,750.20 in year 3, $85,232.76 in year 4, $87,000 $788,088 in year 5, with restaurant opening by June 16th, 2023, and golf course opening by August 18th, 2023. And at this point, Adam, would you like to give us some of the higher topics on this?
Yeah, sure. Just give me a second. So the agreement is 5 + 5 + 5, so it's a basic initial term of 5 years with 2 5-year options. You stated the rental amounts in the first 5-year term, but there are increased rental amounts for the option terms. There's discounts in there for residents, seniors, and veterans. Also, donated course time for the high school golf teams. And that's basically it at a high level.
So we vetted and come up with the replacement concessionaire for Par 3. The Parks and Recreations Commission worked in direct contact with this board, with our town attorney, and the Parks and Recreations Department to vet this out properly, and hopefully within that time frame they'll be up and running. It's been a long time coming, and I think that they'll do a good job. So I want to thank everybody that was involved in that process. My whole board, the Parks and Recs Commission, and the Parks and Recs Department. It was worked through very well. It was worked through very thoroughly. We're not going to make the same mistake twice. With that, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
How about to accept?
Oh, geez, yeah. Motion to accept all the resolutions.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody opposed. Motion carries. Okay, now, all right, I make motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody opposes that. No one ever opposes that.
Good night, Yorktown.
Yeah.